Good morning, students. I am really very happy that we are coming to Module 4. Module 4 has 4 lessons and first lesson is banking. It's a very big lesson. So for your convenience, I divided this entire lesson into 3 parts. In the first part, we are going to discuss structure of banking system in India and recent trends in commercial banking. This is also the big one. In the second part, progress in operational technology. In the third part, issues and challenges. So these are the points that we are going to discuss in this module, in this lesson. Module 4, Lesson 1, Banking. Okay. So we will start with the first point, that is structure of banking system in India. First of all, we will understand the meaning of commercial bank. A commercial bank is a financial intermediary which accepts deposits of money from the public and lends them with a view to make profit. A banking sector is the lifeline of modern economy. Now, the introduction part about the banking system, whatever the question will be there, this part you have to give to in all your answers. You have to cover all those things. This paragraph especially. The RBI was nationalized in 1949, followed by the nationalization of Imperial Bank of India, which is now called as the State Bank of India, in 1955. In July 1969, 14 major commercial banks were nationalized, and in April 1980, 6 more commercial banks were nationalized. In 1993, New Bank of India was merged as Punjab National Bank. At present, there are 19 nationalized banks. Prior to introduction of economic reforms, banking business in India was near a monopoly of the government of India. The banking sector reforms led the setting up of more private banks as well as the entry of more foreign banks in the country. Commercial banks are classified into scheduled and non-scheduled banks. Non-scheduled banks are those which are included in the second schedule of Banking Regulation Act 1949. Others are non-scheduled banks. To be included in the second schedule, a bank must have paid up capital and reserves not less than rupees 5 lakhs. Second, it must also satisfy the RBI that its affairs are not conducted in a manner detrimental to the interest of the depositor. Scheduled banks are required to maintain a certain amount of reserves with RBI. They in return enjoy the facility of financial accommodation and remittance facilities at the concessional rate from RBI. The number of non-scheduled banks is very small. There are only 4 non-scheduled banks at present. Now we will see the structure of commercial banks in India. Commercial banks in India are divided into 2 parts, public sector banks and private sector banks. Public sector banks are divided into 3 parts, State Bank Group, Nationalized Bank, Regional Rural Banks, and private sector banks are divided into 2 parts, local area banks and payment banks. Then this local area banks, they are divided as a foreign banks. Here it is divided into foreign banks and cooperative banks, and cooperative banks are divided into 2 parts, urban cooperative banks and rural cooperative banks. This is what is the general structure of commercial banks in India. Now we will see the recent trends in commercial banking. This is very important question. It can be asked for 7 marks or 8 marks. Explain the recent trends in commercial banking. There are 10 points we have to discuss under this. Number 1, number of banks. At the end of June 2017, we had 148 banks, including State Bank of India and its associate banks. Of the 148, 144 were scheduled commercial banks, including 56 regional rural banks, RRBs. There were four non-scheduled banks. As I mentioned earlier, there are four non-scheduled banks. Second, branch expansion. As on June 2017, there were 1,39,240 branches of commercial banks in India. Of the total branches, 35% were in rural areas. Third, deposit mobilization. As a result of extension of the banking facilities, there was a large increase in deposit, which indicates the development of saving habit among the people and spread of banking in the country. Fourth, banks lending. Banks lending increased substantially since 1991. The approach of the banks also changed while providing loans. The lending schemes have been extended to small scale industry, export sector, etc. Next, advances to priority sector. The main objective of nationalization was to divert an increasing share of bank credit to the priority and neglected sector. The share of priority sector advances increased from 14% in 1969 to 39% in 1991. Next, regional rural banks, RRBs. RRBs came into existence with the specific objective of providing credit and deposit facilities, particularly to the small and marginal farmers, agricultural laborers and small entrepreneurs. The RRBs have the responsibility to develop agriculture, trade, commerce and industry in rural areas. Next point, local area banks, LABs. LABs are small but important in banking system. LLBs were introduced in the banking system in 1996 with the objective to provide efficient and competitive financial intermediation with specialized local focus in rural and semi-urban areas. Next, payment banks. To widen the financial inclusion, RBI granted license for 11 payment banks. They provide small savings account and remittance services to migrant labor, households and other unorganized sectors. Next, overseas operation of Indian Bank. In 2016, 15 Indian banks operated through a network of 183 overseas offices. SBI has the largest overseas branches network, followed by Bank of Baroda. Among the private sector, ICICI has the largest overseas presence with 12 offices in 2016. Next, financial inclusion. The financial inclusion aims at providing financial services at affordable cost to those who are excluded from formal financial system. To achieve this, the banks have been directed to use a combination of strategies and various schemes. Following are the schemes: microfinance, Swabhiman scheme, ultra small branches, direct benefit transfer, Kisan credit scheme, Pradhan Mantri Janadhana Yojana, Pradhan Mantri Jeevan Jyoti Bima Yojana, Pradhan Mantri Suraksha Bima Yojana, Atal pension schemes, etc. So these are the new schemes they started for financial inclusion. This is what you have to write in the question, that is, explain the recent trends in commercial banking. all these 10 points you have to give. This is a big question. So I explained the structure of commercial banking, the meaning, then scheduled bank and non-scheduled bank, and then we discuss recent trends in commercial banking. Thank you very much.